Hey there, it's Jenny, and I am back today to share with you a memory planning layout. I'm going to share a handful of the supplies that I pulled out that I was considering using when I started, and it's a wide variety. A couple of different packages of 49 Market Rub-ons, some Cocoa Vanilla Happy Days supplies, and those Ranger stamps, then plus way too many photos yet again. So I guess this is an exercise in what to do when you have too many photos. And really the answer should be cut down some of the photos, yet here we are. So I am still in the Heidi Swap storyline chapters and I have trimmed them down. And so I need to just trim off this edge a little bit further as well. I want them to fit inside the 6x8 binder, and I use the We Are Makers Crop-A-Dial. What I like about this one is that when you open up the little spot that holds the trash, from the hole punches, I can actually see exactly where I'm going to punch. So that's very, very nice for being able to line up those holes. So this is the last week in April, so I'm actually not terribly far behind. I have expressed this before, but I actually really like being behind. I know there's plenty for me still to do. So as opposed to being overwhelmed, I'm excited by it. So as you can see, I had 12 photos this week, which is ridiculous. Honestly, I need to learn to pare it down a little bit. It gets a little bit overwhelming having so many photos, but I can't help myself. It's a busy time of year. There's lots going on, and yeah, it just feels like I need to include them all. So here we are. If I used bigger photos, this would be a much bigger problem than it is. But these end up being approximately 1.5 by 2. There are 8 on a 4 by 6 inch photo. I am using the Pick Frame app, and I use the Epson PictureMate printer to print the photos, and I love the quality. I used the Selfie for over 10 years. I still love that printer. I'm using the PictureMate because where my office is and where I do my memory keeping, I do not have great Wi-Fi. And I don't have to have great Wi-Fi with the Epson. And so the quality is astounding, and then being able to directly connect from my phone to the printer without the Wi-Fi makes this basically perfect for me. And you use the ink, but you can use any photo paper you like. So that part is also very cool. All right, so you can see I have laid out the photos in the basic configuration that they'll go. I mean, I'll tweak things ever so slightly, like right up here at the top, I'm going to do a little overlapping action. But otherwise, keeping it about how you saw it already. I really do like these Heidi Swap inserts, and I really do like changing up the orientation. So I am typically a vertical kind of girl. It's just what makes the most sense for me. But I do love using the horizontal to challenge myself, to push myself creatively. I find that using a different format really helps. And I do also like these inserts when they're bound, so they come like a book. However, I have cut them apart because I like to add other pages in, and that's not really possible in the bound book. I mean, I could tape them and stuff, but that's just not what I want to do. Now these are cool stamps. They look like paint swatches, and they are actually cling rubber. So there's a cling side, and then the other side is red rubber. And if you haven't been stamping since red rubber was wildly popular, long story short, they make a beautiful impression. The down side is that you can't see through them. So like if you make a mistake, you can't see where you stamped and like stamp over it. So they're better than red rubber stamps that were on blocks, like on wood blocks, but they're still not quite as versatile as clear stamps. So there's ups and downs to both sides, but they're both very nice. All right, so this is the ephemera from that Happy Days collection by Coco Vanilla, and it's just really fun. Like, it absolutely could be for a party, it absolutely could be for spring, it could absolutely be for every day. So I found a few things that I wanted to use. I'm using the word happy to pick a couple of ink colors, but I love that little pennant. I don't know what it is about pennants, but I always find that I'm very, very drawn to them. I want to pick a couple of ink colors so that I can stamp those paint swatches. And I'm going to use this pink color down at the bottom with that rectangular one that I already have out. And then I am going to do a little bit of masking with the Tropic Teal one. And yeah, it's so pretty and it just makes a really great background. Like, I don't know that I would go around just using these individually, although there's no reason you couldn't. What I bought them for was for layering purposes because they're just really awesome to use together. Now you can see for my layering, I added a sticky note on top of my photo because I wanted to have the stamped image sit right next to the edge of those photos right there. I didn't do a great job of making sure that I got the entire image put down right there, but it's fine. It's not a big deal at all to me, especially because I'm going to be doing some layering on top of it. So I'm going to cut out a couple of the rub-ons from this 12 by 12 sheet, and honestly, I love these. The design of these is epic. Like, you've got a handful of definitions, you've got some titles, you've got some little edges, some splatters. I mean, like, it's just, and it's black. They're just black. So, like, use them with whatever color you want. Like, I just love it. They're so versatile. And then, again, there's a ton of them on that 12 by 12 sheet. So, definitely going to be something that I'm going to reach for repeatedly. That's for sure. So I'm putting down just this little border. It's got a diagonal stripe, and then I'm going to do it right up to the edge of the page. And then I'm going to cover up the bottom part where the stamping didn't really work out very well because, again, I didn't really pay enough attention. I didn't really make sure that I got it all pushed down properly. Now I love that particular pennant flag, and I'm pretty committed to using it. So I'm going to now put the definition down that I want to use right above it. So cute. And again, it's just perfect with the little black definitions. They look fantastic, very cute, but super simple, nothing crazy. I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive and then add that right there. And then that's my first little decorative cluster. And I think it looks really sweet. Like, it's perfect right there. It's very cute, but it's not too much. Like, it's not overwhelming by any stretch of the imagination. Now I want to use this little hand-drawn looking frame. I think it's also really cute, but what I want to do, just because I want to, I could have chosen several different ways to do this. I just wanted to cut it out around the photo. I don't know why. I just felt like it, I guess. And I'm going to cut both sides so then it just wraps around the photo. So it looks like the photo is on top of it, but it's really not. I could have lifted the photo, but I don't need the added bulk, so this works for me. So I'll add the adhesive, and it's very cute, and it actually reminds me of like railroad tracks, like in a circle, like children's railroad tracks or whatever. And then I definitely want to add a couple of different things. So that pinwheel is very adorable, and then the little phrase is also super cute. So I'm just going to layer those together with the photo and the railroad tracks, and that is my second cluster right there. Super cute, right? All right, so now at the bottom, with where we already did the stamping, we will create the third cluster. And I'm going to use one of the rub-on phrases from this package of rub-ons. And this one's really cool because it's got several rainbow sheets. So of course, I'm just naturally drawn to the sheets all together where they're just a whole bunch of rainbows. But then, like, it really is awesome because, like, oh, need a strip of green? Okay, got it. Need a strip of a orange word, no problem, so there's lots of options here. Now I did trim off one of those little, it's like a strip. I don't even know how to describe it. It's got definitely a very distressed look, and I'm going to rub that off down there first before I choose my phrase. And again, I really like this too because it's not perfect. It's not meant to look perfect. It's not meant to be perfect. It just definitely encourages having fun. At least to me it does, as opposed to worrying about everything being just so. So now I've got the little phrase that I wanted to include, and I'm going to layer on top of that stamped image. And again, I'm really enjoying having that stamped image on the back, particularly using these really light colors because it gives some added depth and dimension, but it is absolutely not overwhelming, and it's for sure not the focal point of these two clusters. Like, it's there and it definitely stands out, but it's not crazy at all. All right, so now you see I've got my 3 clusters, and I could add lines and draw a triangle, and that's my visual triangle right there on the layout, and I think it looks super. Now the next step is to add the activities and things like that that I want to make note of. And I do this next because then I can go back and I can fill in any additional decorations or journaling that I want to do. So it's kind of a step-by-step process in getting the things that are the most important down first, which is the photos. Then I add the 3 decorative clusters just because it feels really comfortable to me. It's how I feel confident, and I know that I like the outcome of the pages. And then I add the activities and the appointments. You hear me say this every time I share a video, but I do this because I want to make sure that I'm notating the things that are going on. It's why I started memory planning in the first place. And so it's really important to me to continue that trend because it was something that I really enjoyed about my memory planner back when I had 3 school-age kids that were super busy. So all right, so I've added those, and then now these dual tip brush markers from Altenew are so cute. I swatched them all out to see how they wrote and to see how the colors were, and I really like them a lot. So I'm going to use a couple of them on this layout, and so right here, for example, I just want to highlight the text that I wrote right there. So I just drew a couple of fun lines that will draw your attention into that, and then I will use them more as well. But I really like both sides, both tips, and then these colors. This is the Zanzibar collection. I will link it down below in case you're interested in looking at it. But the colors are all really pretty. Like, I think that they're really fun and very versatile, and you could use these to color things in, and they're very inexpensive. So there's that. All right, so now I'm going to use one of them to write on the side. And so I have to be careful because I don't have a ton of space. Like, I need to make it small enough or whatever. But yeah, it worked out really well. I like it a lot, and they're fun to use. If you like brush lettering, these are a fun to use pen. Now I'm going to do the same thing up here. It took me a minute to think about this. Like, I was kind of staring at it. I didn't know if I wanted to do it again, but I decided it would be okay because I wanted to sort of balance the brush lettering on each side. And then I'm just going to add a handful of words to go with it, like for the little bit of journaling about those particular photos right there. There's not a lot of extra room for long explanations for anything, sadly, this week. That's what happens when you have 12 photos. Clearly, you can see I'm very hung up on the fact that I have 12 photos and I should have chose less, but I mean, what are you going to do? I didn't, so here we are. All right, so now that's finished. So I need to go back now and add a couple of other things. And when we get to summer, one of the things I like to include is the temperature of my pool, which is super random, but it's fun to watch how that warms up in the spring without heating it. And so I'm adding that to the layout. And then, like I said, just a couple of little notes, little things that I want to include. I mean, like sort of micro journaling, right? Like just a sentence about something since I don't have a lot of room. And I know I could add in a flip up or a flip out or an insert or something like that, but I don't really want to, so I'm not going to. So that's the point, is that you can memory plan how you want, what feels natural, and what looks good to you too. So I'm just going to add the dates and the days of the week, and that's it for me. Thanks so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will do my very best to get back to you. Thank you so much, and make it a great day.